What is up, YouTube? It's Fresh bringing a brand new video, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Fuck a rap, I just got my whips all painted, ayy. Bitches fainted, I forgot that I was famous, ayy.
Now, this was a really good movie to me. I seen this movie not too long ago, and I have a lot to say about it. And I think there's a lot of stuff to dive into, so let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so first off, I want to talk about the music used in this movie. I think James Gunn does a great job at using music perfectly in his movies. I feel like he always has a nice fit for a song in the movie, and it always works, right? It's always something that sticks with you even after the movie is over. And I think the way that he introduced the movie with Rocket Raccoon listening to Creep and having that play throughout the beginning was a great way to start the movie. And I loved how he was able to show all the Guardians doing their own different things, which we will get into real quick. But I love the music. I love the use of music. And I feel like the Guardians of the Galaxy, trilogy is known for its music. Even in Infinity War is known for its music. All right, so Star-Lord was drunk, and this was something that we knew he was feeling sad. We knew he was hurting, but we never really seen how he was dealing with the loss of Gamora after the events of Infinity War. So seeing this and him also touching on how he almost ruined he basically ruined the entire universe because he hit Thanos instead of letting them take off the glove. It was a lot of accountability. It was a lot of just reflecting on Infinity War as a whole. And I think that made me honestly like Star-Lord more than I did before, because honestly, when he did mess up in Infinity War, come on, we all hated him for a moment. I mean, even if you was a Star-Lord fan, you was low-key like, bro, what are you doing? But yeah, I thought drunk Star-Lord was a good touch. It's something that is common with most people, and it's a common reaction to sad things like that. And also, it was crazy how, I low-key thought it wasn't Star-Lord at first, but that was a whole custom-made Chris Pratt that they had. Like, it was breathing and everything. Like, I thought that was him at first, but then I was like, why is he laying like that? But yeah, that was fake. I was like, whoa, that's wild for real. Like, it looks hella real. Like, they didn't even have to do that. But that's funny as fuck. But yeah, also Guardians of the Galaxy 3 had some crazy appearances. We had Cosmo the dog. We had also Howard the Duck. And I want to talk about Howard the Duck. I think we might be getting a Howard the Duck show or movie, and I'm not sure how they're going to touch on it, but I think it would be really cool to just see him doing whatever in space or going to different planet to planet, whatever he's doing. I think that would be cool, but I mean, hey, they did make I Am Groot the show, so why not do a Howard the Duck show? Then we have Nebula, obviously, and seeing her, drastically change throughout the MCU, we have to give credit where it's due. Like, what a character development. Going from just complete hatred to almost being a loving mom for the group of the Guardians. That was a crazy change of pace. All right, so let's get into what I really wanted to get into, and that's Adam Warlock making his appearance quick in the first part of the movie. Now, I think Adam Warlock towards the end of the movie got better, but throughout the movie, Adam Warlock was just really, really painful to watch. I think the writing behind his character and turning him into such a comedy, it just really hurt to watch. As anybody who knows Adam Warlock from the comics, you know how he is. He's more of a serious guy, a smart guy especially. And just to see that be his start in the MCU, it really wasn't good at all. One thing I will say is, though, we know what Marvel likes to do. Marvel likes to make the characters completely unlike themselves, and then, 2 movies later, they're like themselves. They're like how everybody knows them from the comics. And I just don't think they should do that every single time. Or maybe if they want to make a character comedic relief, maybe they should, choose better comedy. You don't always have to go dumb, stupid comedy, like what's characters' names that are just dumb and stupid in shows like Shaggy, London Tipton. Like, you don't got to go that comedy. You don't got to go that route. So yeah, I think Adam Warlock was a letdown in this movie. And, they even called him stupid in the movie. You know what I mean? Like, they knew what they were doing. but that's the route they wanted to go, and it just didn't work. It just didn't work. And obviously, I'll get into later what I think about Adam Warlock in the rest of the movie and towards the end. But yeah, for the start and for halfway, midpoint, I didn't like Adam Warlock at all. Okay, so then we get into Rocket being injured, and Rocket being injured, I feel like was such a great staple for this movie, something great to build off of, because not only did it show how important he was to the Guardians, which I don't think we really touched on too much throughout the first two movies. So I was really happy to see how important he was to them, and I really was excited to see his backstory. And I think his backstory was written so perfectly. James Gunn did it in such a great way, which I will get into really quickly, but I got to talk about this. James Gunn did it in such a great way, and just them showing his backstory as he was dying and how he was made, the things he went through, how he escaped. It was so perfect in this movie, and I think they perfectly sent Rocket into the right direction at the end of this movie. Like, they not only turned him into the main character, they made him a main character you want to continue to watch. And that right there, they nailed it with that. They nailed it with that. And I think the way they portrayed Rocket in throughout all the flashbacks were great. And I think how they introduced the High Evolutionary as well was great. You know, introducing the High Evolutionary through flashbacks of what Rocket experienced, and just going back and back and back and continuously showing like evil things he's doing, how powerful he is. You know, that's a great setup for a villain. And I think they did it in a great way. I honestly don't see that too much in comic book movies now. Without the main character going, oh, you know, oh, you guys don't know about him? Let me tell you about him. And then the flashback, oh, this is what he did. You know, them just literally just showing flashbacks of Rocket's life and the High Evolutionary being there. That was great. They did a great job. Great job with that. But that leads us into finally figuring out where Gamora went to after Endgame. And now, this isn't the Gamora we all know. This is the multiversal Gamora that they let stay there because Iron Man was like, I'm not about to snap her out of here. You know, I mean, I might as well, you know, leave her in the universe. Why not? Why not? So, you know, Gamora's still there. And, you know, speaking of that, we didn't really touch on that. I'm gonna have to make a YouTube short on that. But Gamora, you know, Iron Man know that Gamora was important to Peter because he's seen how Peter reacted when they're about to get the glove off. He heard them talking like, oh, Gamora died, this, and that. So when he snapped, he low-key was thinking in the back of his mind, like, let me keep this Gamora here. Maybe she can help Star-Lord in some way. But yeah, I think the way Gamora and Star-Lord's relationship in this movie was shown was hilarious. I think they did a great job with this because, you know, you could tell Star-Lord was like, well, shoot, what do I do? You know what I mean? Like, it's tough for him, man. It's tough for him. I thought it was funny though. I like how James Gunn adds comedic moments that aren't really supposed to be funny, right? But it's funny. And I feel like he's done that a lot actually with the Guardians movies. I think that, you know, it's not forced comedy all the time. I feel like maybe we'll see forced comedy with maybe Drax, maybe Mantis, but I feel like it's not forced all the time. You know what I mean? Surrounding the Guardians. And I feel like there's a lot of other MCU projects I could go into and talk about forced comedy, but you know, we're gonna have to do that another time because we'll be here all day. Now let's go ahead and get into the fight scenes. Now the fight scenes I want to talk about are between the Guardians and the other like minions. Not even the main guy, not even the High Evolutionary. Even when they were getting killed or not killed, but even when they were losing the battle in the first two movies, it always seemed like, yeah, they're gonna win, right? And I don't know if it's because of how they set it up in Guardians, in the trailer and in the official trailer and how James Gunn was making it seem like everybody was gonna die, all that stuff. I don't know if it's because that's how they set it up, but it just felt like nobody was safe. It felt like they might die at any moment. It felt like, oh shit, who's gonna die here? Like they getting fucked up in this fight. Like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? And I feel like we haven't had that in the MCU in a minute. In my opinion, I could be wrong, and I wouldn't even say just the MCU. I would say comic book movies in general. You don't really have that sense of feeling like, yeah, they're gonna die in this battle. Like you always kind of just have it in the back of your mind, like, yeah, this is great to watch, but they're not gonna die, right? You know, like this isn't a threat. And yeah, when Drax was getting shot by the what's it called thing, and they had them pinned down, I thought for sure he was gone. I'm not gonna lie, I thought he was up out of here. I was like, okay, he get him out of here. I was like, somebody bring out the you know, the shovels. Take him back to his home planet. What y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna burn him through the spaceship? I don't know, the fuel. Like what we're doing here? What we doing? But yeah, I thought for sure they were gone. They weren't though, and I just love that anticipation, suspense. You know, it really went throughout the whole movie, and I think that's why this movie just works so well as an ending movie, because the stakes were there, and that's what we miss in a lot of MCU movies, because so many of them follow the same format, and you know, obviously this battle or the conflict happens at the start, battle in the middle where they lose, obviously in the ending fight they're gonna win. This time around it seemed a little bit different for the Guardians, and it just made the movie better. It just made it better. Like, it was well done. One thing I want to touch on is the tie-in between the High Evolutionary and how the High Evolutionary made it easier to make this such a cosmic comic book movie. I feel like, you know, the first two Guardians of the Galaxy movies, don't get me wrong, were like that. But this took it up a notch when you get into him creating the different planets, the different people there, living there, him creating all these different societies, trying to find the perfect one. It just allowed us to explore way more than we've seen. And I think that was a great job as well. I think that was something that you had to utilize, right? You had to utilize that in this movie, and he did. James Gunn did that, and we got to see a lot. I like how, even though him as a character wasn't the strongest villain, the toughest villain, he still seemed, in my opinion, the one that posed the most stakes for the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, which is interesting. Oh, another thing, the High Evolutionary Kang variant thing needs to stop, all right? It really needs to stop. We need to stop, just stop all this Kang variant talk right now. All right, just stop all this right now, because so many people want the story to change, all this stuff. Bro, if Jonathan Majors did what he did, then just recast. Y'all act like a recast has to like happen in the story. Like, we have to see the recast or a reason for the recast happening in the story. We didn't get that for the Hulk. We didn't get that for War Machine. We didn't get that for, I can keep going. You know what I mean? So it's like, why do you need that? You know, outside of the movie, hey, this happened with the actor. Okay, bam. They don't have to sit here and put a real life situation into the story. You know what I mean? I just really think that recasting also has never been a bad thing. You know, if you need to recast, especially if it's with an important character. So, you know, I think this whole High Evolutionaries, the Kang variant stuff needs to stop. Oh, another thing I want to talk about, Groot is one of the coolest characters I've ever seen on a comic book movie before. Groot is my favorite character in the Guardians of the Galaxy. Even though I do mess with the characters, I think Groot's the best. Groot, first movie, saved everybody, died for the team. He's a real one. Groot is a real one. He died for the whole squad. That's it. Don't get realer than that. Then we got Groot, Baby Groot. Baby Groot, a real one too. Baby Groot was just out there vibing, out there having fun. Then Teenage Groot came in the mix. Teenage Groot was ready to risk his life too. Lost a branch. You know, created Thor's hammer, his second one. You know what I mean? Third Groot. He King Groot now or something. He got the, you know what I mean? Like Groot cool. Groot is cool. And what's going on with Groot right now, I'm excited. I hope they do a Groot movie. Why not? Let's do it. I don't care if I Am Groot is heard 100 times throughout the whole movie. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, so clearly I love this movie. I give this movie a 9 out of 10 rating. I think this is one of the best MCU movies to ever come out. I think James Gunn did a fantastic job at concluding this trilogy and just making everything so unique and so inspiring, honestly, and at times so relatable. I will be getting into the direction for the new Guardians of the Galaxy team and how I feel about the new Guardians of the Galaxy team in more videos, so don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. And yeah,